Good evening, America. Once again, welcome to your favorite program, Late Night Show with Angie. As always, today we have an interesting discussion. You probably have many questions, and we are excited to answer them all. Send them via Twitter using the hashtag Show. Now, I want to call our special guest. Please give a warm welcome to UN's expert Ana Rodriguez. Welcome, Anna. We are happy to have you here.
Hi, Angie. It's my pleasure.
Anna is a professor of physics at Harvard. She has been working for a while as executive director of the investigation department, and she also works as a counselor of the United Nations for the prevention, abolition, and anti-proliferation of nuclear weapons. Many viewers don't even know what a nuclear weapon is. Please, Anna, can you explain briefly what it is?
Yes, no problem. Nuclear weapons are enormously powerful explosives. They get their energy from splitting or joining tiny particles inside an atom. This is why you might hear a nuclear bomb being called an atomic bomb. Nuclear bombs can be more powerful than even the biggest non-nuclear bombs. The explosions they produce are so powerful that just one bomb can destroy a large city. Nuclear weapons also release huge amounts of radiation, which can cause radiation sickness and horrible illnesses, so the destruction lasts longer than the initial blast.
Yes, they are too dangerous. Even though they were used only twice against Japan during the World War II, they have not been detonated in war since all governments are other, because one bomb can cause a huge devastation and enormous loss of life in one's territory.
Indeed, and what is even more surprising is that everyone knows this, but they are still trying to produce nuclear bombs. There are some countries going on the military race not taking into consideration the policies and regulations meant for the prevention of a nuclear disaster.
Yeah, to all our viewers, this sounds like a fairy tale. Unfortunately, this is a reality. Then, which are the countries you're talking about? The ones going on an illegal and insane military race.
Well, there are five legally recognized nuclear weapon states: Britain, France, the US, China, and Russia. They mostly developed their nuclear weapons following World War II, although China was slightly later in the mid 60s. There are other countries which claim to have nuclear weapons. We have North Korea, India, and Pakistan, and it is widely believed Israel has them too, although it has not been confirmed or denied yet. Iran was also suspected of working to develop nuclear weapons, which is why the Iran nuclear deal was reached. These are the countries that are improving their technology, and it's risky because it's not always clear exactly what those countries are doing with their nuclear development programs, as governments are very secretive about it.
Yes, and I agree with you. It can be hard to tell what a country is really up to. According to the Federation of American Scientists, the number of nuclear weapons in the world has gone down from about 70,300 warheads in 1986 to around 14,200 in early 2018. Also, the warheads in existence now are said to be more advanced than they used to be. Russia and the US own the majority of this. Now, uh, we have a question via Twitter by Angel07. This is the question. How do we regulate the production and proliferation of these weapons all over the world?
Angel, thanks for your question. After the Japanese surrender in World War II, the nuclear age began. There was a constant international concern. Proliferation refers to the spread or increase of military technologies and systems. Non-proliferation refers to the tools and policies used to prevent or stop this spread. So these terms can refer to various capabilities nuclear weapons have received the greatest focus because they are so destructive and dangerous. So the goal here is to limit those nuclear capabilities that exist and prevent their spread to additional countries or terrorist groups, for example. That's why countries like the United States promote the creation of agreements and regulations.
Anna, if I remember correctly, there was a treaty in 1968, right? It
Yes,
was called the Treaty of the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, also known as the NPT.
yes, that's right. The negotiations to stop proliferation culminated in 1968 with this treaty. The treaty's three main objectives, known as the three pillars, are non-proliferation, which again is preventing states and non-state actors that do not have nuclear weapons from acquiring them or building them. The peaceful use of nuclear energy is the second one, or promoting for all countries, uh, promoting access for all countries to nuclear technology for non-military use. For example, they can use this technology to generate power. And the third one is disarmament, or the idea that the United States and other countries with nuclear weapons will eventually relinquish them.
Oh, yes, but I also know that there were problems. Do you know why?
Well, yes, there were many problems since the MPT also allows withdrawal, so it does not prevent other countries from renouncing the treaty and developing or acquiring nuclear weapons.
Oh, it does make sense. I have
Yeah,
always wondered if the world truly works together to stop the proliferation of nuclear weapons.
me
After
too.
all, including the five recognized nuclear weapon states, 190 countries have signed the agreement. India, Israel, Pakistan never signed it, and North Korea left in 2003 before
Yeah.
first testing nuclear weapons in 2006. I think it's impressive that the treaty states that the five official nuclear states can have their collection of nuclear weapons forever.
And well, it also bans other countries from developing nuclear weapons. South Africa, Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Ukraine all gave up their nuclear programs. I consider that it wants countries to work together for the peaceful use of nuclear technology and to work towards hopefully disarming the war of nuclear weapons completely.
Well, I consider it's time to talk about how is it today. For this, we have a question via Twitter by Julia21. The question is, what are the governments doing to stop the proliferation of nuclear weapons? Very interesting question.
Yeah, this is a very interesting question. Thanks, Julia. Okay, so today the government's non-proliferation efforts center on some main concerns. The first, preventing new countries from getting nuclear weapons. That's why some countries try to reach agreements. For example, we have the United States, who had this aim in 2015 when they made an agreement with Iran. There is another concern, this is the second one, related to the existing nuclear weapons states that are judged to pose a threat. And this is why some countries are constantly analyzing and watching others' movements. This is the case of South Korea, Japan, some other Asian countries, and the US, vigilant of North Korea's movements. The third one, well, in this case, the United States and other countries use a range of policies and tools to advance non-proliferation goals. Arms control agreements are one great example. Finally, international institutions and inspectors also try to monitor the production and distribution of different materials. They also give out sanctions and stop shipments of dangerous technology. I consider that all the countries are working on their own ways to control the situation.
It looks like non-proliferation efforts have in part succeeded.
Yeah.
Only 9 countries have developed nuclear weapons in the last 70 years. In many countries with the capability to do so have chosen not to. Nuclear proliferation, however, remains a real threat, one with the potential to have enormous consequences. In this case, what's next? What's next for nuclear weapons?
Well, this is such a difficult question. Countries with nuclear capabilities will continue to modernize their weapons or are planning to do so. According to the Federation of American Scientists, China, Pakistan, India, and North Korea, for example, are adding to the number of warheads that they have. So, even though the number of warheads in the world has gone down, nuclear weapons programs are still active. I consider that the best option is to focus on strengthening the policies to prevent regretful consequences.
In conclusion, though many countries have worked to limit or to eliminate nuclear weapons, threats remains from countries that continue build arsenals, uh, do not plan to completely disarm, or
That's
do
right.
not follow safety standards for nuclear material. Containing nuclear weapons and preventing nuclear war remains one of the greatest challenges facing world leaders today. Well, Anna, thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome. I hope everyone is more informed and aware of what nuclear weapons represent. Thank you.
Thank you too. Well, this is the end of late night show with Angie. See you next week. Bye bye.